And talking about rubbing one out, let's talk about Seth Troxler, my guy, Seth Troxler, somebody that I've been a fan of for a very long time, somebody who I followed his career from the very beginning, was kind of inspired by him in terms of DJing anyway in the first place, would live vicariously through clips of him traveling around the world, gallivanting around the world when he was super young. Maybe he was like a teenager at that time. Becoming a professional DJ, coming into his own, making great tracks, hanging out with all the Hot Creations guys, Jamie Jones. I forgot the American dude's name as well, but just a cohort of dudes who were just like traveling around the world, playing great music, attending all the best parties, and just living the life that, you know, all of us kind of wanted to live as DJs or maybe as ravers, regardless it may be. Now he's a bit older. Things have kind of slowed down a bit in terms of, I wouldn't say popularity. I think he's kind of taken a back seat from being like the party boy. I think he's married now. He might have a kid now as well, if I'm not mistaken. So clearly things have kind of changed. But I do love the fact that he's still out here, still playing, still quite vocal, still very opinionated about stuff about culture and about music and shit. This particular clip is taken from a podcast that he was on, and he says the following in the caption. Caught up with a couple of degenerates a few weeks back for the Daddy Wellness podcast. We covered it all and have dropped a link in the full episode of the. So I'll probably do a reaction to the full episode, but here's a couple of clips that he put up on his social media that I feel like might be handy to talk about. Also featuring the one and only, the great Jack Master, RIP Jack Master.
All these people talk about being benders, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you guys something, okay? God rest his soul. Jack Master, Scream, and I are the last fucking rock stars, okay? We're in old age, but you guys cannot even understand how deep wolf dogs we are. I'm a fucking bear animal that will rip your fucking head off if it comes down to a bend, okay?
But that's the thing, though. I don't think, as much as I love Seth, as much as I love him, I don't think this is a good look. I think boasting about benders and stuff at his age can be seen as a bit lame. You know, it kind of sounds like, you know, the old guy at the party trying to mix in with the youngsters. It's a bit lame. And I feel like nowadays, the kids now, I quite like them because I feel like they have a far more healthier relationship with drugs and alcohol. Like, I've been to some festival, I've been to some parties where I legitimately think I might have been the only person continually buying drinks at the bar. Everybody's clearly pre-drunk. Everyone maybe is clearly sober and just doing drugs, but they have a far better relationship and ability to kind of live or kind of, you know, make techno or dance music or nightlife their lifestyle without looking like absolute zombies. For the most part, I feel like, especially in the UK, these kids are way better at raving than maybe my generation was, or even Seth Troxler's generation was. They're far better at it. And they don't really prioritize benders and stuff. They prioritize the art, which is quite cool to see. They're really into producing their raves. They're really into putting out cool releases, making cool artwork covers, or vinyl covers, artwork cover for their flipping releases, learning how to produce, learning how to DJ, setting up their own booking agencies. They're really self-sufficient. They're not even like, I don't even see these kids who are like super eager to get signed by like Triangle Agency or whoever agency they're out there. They seem to be very much about doing their own thing. They're not all bothered about going on Boiler Room. They've got their own flipping streaming services that they set up. Like I saw recently, there's this French collective that have got like a thing going on where it's like an orange room and the camera's like pointing down and shit. So they're all very self-sufficient. They don't really believe in the establishment and whatever it may be. And they're kind of just doing their own thing, trying to provide for their own community, whether it's LGBT, queer, whatever it may be, and trying to service their needs without ever going down the legacy sort of DJ route or going down the top, you know, 100 DJ mag kind of voted people. So I don't think they prioritize this. So I don't think they care. To them, it's not a bother. And to be fair too, the people he's naming, I don't think any of the kids would want to be Jack Master and, you know, with all due respect, or even Scream. They probably see those guys as lame, especially since one of them passed away. Do you know what I mean? So it's not the best thing to kind of boast about. I'm not going to lie. But again, maybe I'm being a bit of a woke pussy. Who knows?
Okay, so it's like the kitty, I'm on a bender, I've been up for 10 hours. Yeah,
5 years.
Come on, I've been up for 30 days drinking competitively. This motherfucker went to hospital twice.
Yeah,
When this guy came back, he almost died as well.
Yeah.
And I had another 3 months of tour, and I'm like, yeah, guys, this is like normal. I mean, you put on a couple kgs in the middle, but...
A couple. I'm not going to lie. As much as I love Seth Troxler, he looks like pure dog shit. And it's not his fault. No, it is his fault. It is his fault. It is his fault. It's his fault. He looks like pure dog shit behind the decks. He looks like pure dog shit. Everything's jiggling. His belly is protruding to the point where, like, I guess his belly might be his arm's length to the DJ decks. Like, he's standing so far back because his belly's like literally in the way of him trying to get in touch with the decks. It's kind of sad to see because he was a pioneer back in the day. I still think he's a hell of a producer. He doesn't really get the credit he deserves for being a great producer. Also still a great DJ. I've seen him play vinyl sets, absolutely killing it. But nowadays, I don't think anybody goes to see Seth Troxler sets. Recently, at the Berghain birthday, a lot of people in the Berghain Reddit didn't really have that great words to say about him. I don't really see people raving about his sets as they did in the past. You don't really see a lot of his sets get uploaded, which is usually another sign of how powerful you are as a DJ and stuff. So I feel like, you know, the Benders, unfortunately, have taken a lot of our greats, a lot of our potential legends, who are still legends, don't get me wrong, but they didn't get a chance to really come into their own and really kind of, you know, try and see what they could do in the future in terms of how far they could take their artistry and their craft. And we lost them because they were too busy being party boys. I don't know, man. Like, yes, some of us fell in love with these guys for their party image in the same way that we fell in love with people like, you know, Svenvar or DJ Harvey. But at some point, you have to get serious. You have to kind of fix up. You have to take it, like, you know, you have to take it seriously, take your job seriously. And you have to be always have in mind that you're servicing the people. You're essentially being placed there by the people because they're fans of you and you want to give them a good show. Like, even at my, like, little level, my really, really, really small level of playing in like bars and pubs for like £50, £100, £150 sometimes, maybe most of the times just drink tokens. I was a real stickler, and I still am, about never fucking getting fucked up while I was playing. I was a real stickler about it. I might have a drink or two while I'm playing, mostly at the time, especially if I'm flipping super dehydrated and anxious, it just goes down like water. But there'll be no drugs and no heavy drinking or shots, whatever, while I'm playing, because I really believed, even though most of the people in these pubs and bars had their backs turned to me and as they were digging into their onion rings and their double cheeseburgers, I was very adamant that I prepared all week, all month for this set. I'm not playing any same songs that I played in my previous set. I've come here prepared. I'm here early. I've done a quote-unquote sound check. I've got all my equipment. I've got all my adapters and stuff. I want to put on a show. I want to put on a good show. I want to put on a good performance. And I want to treat this like a job. Like I clocked in. Here's my 4 hours. I want to put on my good show. I want to show off my musical skills, my DJ skills, my ability to kind of read the room, craft the room, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, you know, if I want to celebrate, I can celebrate. But I believed in kind of doing it with some level of professionalism, and that begins with not being super fucked up. And you can still be a party boy behind the decks and give that kind of vibe, but you don't need to get completely fucked up, really and truly. And I've always felt like if you're really in tune with your set and you're really kind of locked in with what you're doing, that will kind of give you some sort of buzz anyway. The mere fact of playing and the tension of it, and, you know, being worried that you didn't play the right song and this is the right pitch and being able to mix it, all that stuff is part of it. So as much as I love these guys coming up, I think continuing to be this person and boasting about it, especially since one of your best friends passed away, is a little bit in bad taste. And I also think in terms of professionalism and craft and where they've gone in terms of his lack of evolution or whatever growth as an artist, it's clear to see why, because his mind is still stuck in that kind of place. And it's kind of sad to see, because I still think he's super talented. He was one of the first DJs to kind of make it at his age, like super, like a crazy amount of gigs, loads of labels and projects. Like, he's clearly got something in him, but we still haven't seen the best of Seth Troxler because, you know, he probably kind of gets his own way. And obviously the other guys as well that he mentioned are probably the same as well.
Like, you know, get your fucking life together and fucking man up. All these people.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a part of me that feels like maybe they should be more of a promotion about knowing how to do your drugs. I think I remember listening to a Tim Dillon episode where he said the same sort of thing. Like, there needs to be way more encouraging, because I feel like now, in the post-pandemic world, with the economy being what it is, people just need a release. You're not going to stop people doing drugs. You're not going to stop people drinking ever anyway. Even more so now. People need a release. They want to tune out from the craziness of the world. They've been watching 100 million clips of the war in Ukraine, the stuff going on in Gaza, the random terrorist attacks. They just want to tap out. So I understand how people want to do drugs, but I really do wish there was more promotion, there was more talk around people knowing how to handle their drugs as adults, like how to handle it properly, how to dose. I think I was talking to, pick up my guy Losbro, I was actually talking to Losbro about this earlier, about how to dose everything properly. What works for your body, what doesn't work for your body, what works in certain situation, what doesn't work in certain situation, and kind of promoting that, because you're not going to stop it, but let's kind of get to a position where we kind of have healthy relationships with it, which is why I kind of do like the Generation Z, the Zoomers now. I feel like they have a far better relationship with drugs and alcohol than my generation did, and they know how to kind of play with it. They know how to use it to kind of, you know, to kind of give the night a different kind of patina, but they also know how to kind of stay off it and not go too crazy and overdo it. They know how to kind of push and play. Whereas I feel like with us, it was all kind of crazy excess and it went over the top. So big up Seth Troxler, big fan of his, but I thought this was kind of lame. Let's read some of the comments. Diplo says, it's crazy that a majority of my brothers in DJ world are sober now and still riding high and performing at the highest level. But we all had our time in the trenches. Some of us didn't make it back in one piece. I wish the job description read a little bit like, it's not exactly what you think. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's a dangerous world for the ones that don't have self-control. But we all grow up, become better, wiser people with time. I can't remember the last time I absolutely drunk at a DJ set. Exactly. But it would be a fun wedding if every DJ was invited and drinking was mandatory. The competitive spirit is in all of us. I would never want to go toe-to-toe with Scream again. I have fought that battle and lost badly. So basically, he's basically saying what I'm saying in a nicer way. What he's saying is kind of lame. We should be in a place where like people can just, you know, I don't know, DJing now as an art form, it's an art form. It's a form of entertainment. People are spending a lot of money going to these festivals. They're traveling all over the world. They're buying, they're renting accommodation, whatever it may be. They're saving up a bunch of money. I feel like these motherfuckers, they owe it to the fans to like, I don't know, maybe play drunk, play high, but put on a fucking good show, man. Please, for the love of God. Like, I just saw not Junction. I just saw tickets for fucking Stone Techno Festival the other day. 210 euros. I don't want to go all the way to fucking Essen, get to fucking Stone Techno Festival, and half the people playing behind the decks are already monged out as much as I am. I'm allowed to be monged out. I'm allowed to peak too early because I'm in the crowd. But you as an artist, put on a fun show. Make it memorable. Make it worthwhile. Like, allow it, bro. Like, we're not playing in warehouses anymore. You guys are getting paid millions or thousands per set. Like, put on a good show, bro. Like, just leave the fucking drugs and drinking for when after you've done the show. Is it really that hard? You've all got a green room. You've got your own hotel rooms that are fully booked by the people. Like, Jesus Christ. What someone says here, Danny Tengliani says, if only we could turn back there. I have partied with Seth multiple times, says this person. How he showed me to mix poppers. What? I partied with Sex multiple times. He showed me how to mix poppers with La Croix in Detroit at 11 in the morning. After ripping them, he immediately went into a DJ booth and gave a speech. Yeah, you see? That sounds horrible. That sounds, obviously the drugs sound good, but the performance sounds disgusting. So he went into the DJ booth and started talking. Nah, you see what I mean? Look at how horrible it does this. It does a fucking set. That sounds terrible. Good for Seth Troxler, good for that guy, but poor for everyone that was watching. They had to listen to fucking Seth try and speak and use their headphones as a microphone. Nah, let's not do that. Even in the Kev party boy heyday, I think I'm ready for all of that. At one time I was solid JV. The way this spoke to my immune system on a spiritual level, having told with Scream and Jack Muscle multiple times his position over 20 odd years, I can confirm they are different beasts at their peak. If you aren't on their level, it's not worth even competing. Some of the best times of my life were these boys. RIP Jack Muscle, and special note for Scream, who's taken himself out of the race and is a better man for it, and still have the life and soul of the room without the poison inside of him. Yeah, because I think Scream is sober now. Like, that's what they should be promoting, because I don't even know how Jack Muscle died. I don't know if Jack Muscle passed away through mistakes and through errors, or if it was something that he did himself. But regardless, Jack Muscle clearly was struggling with that sort of shit. Had these battles, had these demons with that sort of stuff, went through a pretty public and big deal sexual harassment thing off the back of doing too much. Ended up getting sober for a while, coming back into the scene, but not really, because he wasn't really that accepted, and sort of kind of had a dark cloud around him. And then, you know, many months or a couple of years later, he ends up passing away, which is really, really sad, considering, you know, he kind of apologized, everybody was okay with it and kind of moved on, but not really, and his career never really kind of recovered. You'd think they want to honor his legacy a bit and kind of be like, you know what, maybe this is a turning point. But I also do like that they're talking like this, because it's just honest. The honest thing is, like, a lot of people, when people pass, especially in the party world, a lot of people do go out and celebrate. A lot of people do go out and honor the person that passed in the party boy way by doing loads of drugs and booze. That's the unfortunate side of the scene. It's the truth. I've seen it. It is what it is.